Hello and welcome everyone to the Possibility Partners Show. I'm your host, Ande Lyons, your Chief Possibility Officer, and you know I love sharing Andelicious advice for everyone, but especially for the entrepreneurial adventurers out there who are living a life filled with, so much excitement, right? And what I've come to learn and understand is that as much as I want to nail down the SEO and blogging and content marketing and email marketing and branding and all those important things for running our businesses and monetizing them, I have come to truly understand that our state of mind and heart are equally important to our entrepreneurial journey. And so I love bringing these guests on to the show. That I call it a moment at the corner of Main Street, an inspirational way, because I want you to leave these shows feeling inspired, feeling uplifted, and with tips, tools, and resources to help you, walk with your fear and doubt, with love in your heart, and be open to welcoming so much more of what you're possible to do and what your possibilities are. So thank you for tuning into the show today. I'm so honored you're here. I'm yoo-hooing big time to all the live viewers whose participation is so wonderful, so delicious. I can feel your energy right here. Thank you. And to those of you who have tuned into the replay, I am beyond honored that you took time out as well to bring your delicious energy to the show, because even in replay, it's very important and it means the world to me, to my guests, and to all those who are watching live right now. So to all the replay viewers. And I'd love to stay connected with you all, get engaged on social media. And you can find me on all the platforms, but primarily, everybody knows my favorite social media bar. Yep, that's Twitter. And you can find me at Ande Lyons there. And if you'd like to stay tuned in and receive more wonderful Andelicious advice, I encourage you and invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Andelicious Advice. I'd be so honored. Thank you. So today we have a really fun show. You can see my guest hanging out to the right of me or to the left of me. I never know how this comes flipped out on the film, but you can see he's right there shining. It's going to be empowering. It's going to be impactful for everybody today. And this gentleman is an award-winning, internationally best-selling author of The Alchemy of True Success. Activate your mind, revitalize your body, and reignite your spirit. And Jaden loves helping entrepreneurs as well as everyday folks around the world tap into their abundance and fatten their wallets by combining spiritual principles and practical business advice. How fabulous is that? I just love that. And today, he's providing some lovely mini readings from his Manifesting Wealth and Wisdom cards. So woohoo! Please join me, everybody, in giving a really warm welcome, no matter where you are, to the fabulous Jadens Sterling.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm so thrilled and honored you're here today, Jaden. Share with everybody. You'd like to do a card drawing for an intention for the show. Is that correct?
That is correct, Ande. So I created this deck of cards. Can you see it? It's Manifesting Wealth and Wisdom Daily Oracle cards, so people can get guidance about business, about their life, and also, it's really the depth of spirituality and understanding of all that is. So the deck is really spot on, and the card that I drew for our show is Signs.
We'll bring it up closer to your camera. We're almost there. Signs. Ooh.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what this means is, now this could very easily apply to many of our viewers today and many of the folks watching on the replay, is that the universe is saying it's really important to be aware of signs coming to you. So for instance, if you ask you know, if you have a question on your heart or in your mind and you say, I don't know what to do, universe, give me a sign. Well, the key is to start really paying attention to what shows up for you. You know, it might be a friend calls you out of the blue and says just the right thing that you needed. It might be a song that you hear on the radio that answers a question that you have on your heart. It might be an internet site that you come across and it gives you the answer for exactly what you needed at that time. So signs are key to be looking out for.
Wonderful. I love that. You know, I've had times where I've just been reading an article and some piece of information was in that article. Or you're right, those little bit of connections that happen to us as we're strolling through life, if we stay open and aware and in the present moment, we can get all kinds of assistance, right?
Absolutely. That's it.
Oh boy, that's a great card. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So before we dive into the body of the show, let's take a moment and talk about you and how you got here and how you became this money alchemist, so to speak. What happened? What compelled you? What were you doing? Because I know that you draw, you know, from your body of work, it comes from the incredible amount of success that you had early on. I mean, you were at the top of 1% of income earners in the United States by the time you were 26 years old, and you developed a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio in your 30s. How did that all happen? And then what led you to this wonderful spiritual awakening about money and to want to help people on such an important level?
Yeah, great question, Andy. So I'm going to have to go way back to when I was 14. And I had, you know, one of those moments in time. Have you ever had an experience where like time stood still and the clouds parted and, you know, and you got this amazing information from the universe? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. I was 14 years old. I was in my mother's home and I came down the stairs of our townhome and there was remember back in the day, the big boom box for cassette tapes?
Yeah.
Okay. I know, I'm so dating myself here. So back in the day, there was this big boom box and it had a cassette player and it was Wayne Dyer speaking from stage. And Andy, I heard him and I was just transfixed. I found myself standing in front of this recording, listening and soaking everything up that he was talking about. And in that very moment, I knew three things. The first thing I knew was I said, wow, that's amazing and I can do that. So here I am 14, having this knowing and epiphany that I'd be speaking from stage someday. The other thing was I knew I'd be teaching about money. That was my second clarity thought. And the third thing was that I'd be teaching from experience, not from a book I read or a course that I took. So that started my journey and I was true to my journey. Right after high school, I went into the financial services arena. I worked on Wall Street for a decade, 10 years. And during those 10 years in meditation, I started getting stock tips. Like literally, the universe just dropped in these stock tips for me. I know, it's crazy. And so I started telling my clients about them. I'd say, hey, you know, this is the right time to buy XYZ stock, and I think you should buy it. And they either do it or they didn't. But I started doing it in my own portfolio, which allowed me to retire at age 31 based on my stock portfolio. And these were ideas that were coming through meditation.
That's crazy. I mean, seriously, nobody talks about that. That almost feels a little too woo-woo for Main Street America.
I know, because it's crazy good. You know, we're not taught to like tap into this incredible ability that we all have, but we seldom use, right? But not your viewers. I'm sure your viewers are fully into the ease and grace of life.
That's right.
Which is great. So.
And so you got these signs, Jaden, because we had our sign card today. So you got signs that said, oh, this company would be a great company to invest in right now. You didn't do any research of the CEO or the metrics or things like that. You went with that tip.
That's it, Andy. I mean, most people, this is so atypical, and I'm so atypical in terms of all of my investing strategies that some people are going to watch this and go, what? Like, how is that even possible? And it is, though. So, I'd get these ideas. It would be like a company that would be bought out like a week later, but they were very current and really relevant stock picks. Yeah. And I trusted in the information I got. And then I took action. I followed through. I actually bought the shares of the company. So once this happened, this happened enough where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm tuned into this information that's really powerful. Let's see what I can do with it. So I got out of the financial services industry, and then I decided I'm going to build my own company. And that's when I stepped into the real estate business. And I thought, if I could create a fairly large portfolio, and maybe some people would take me seriously when I talk about how the universe is constructed and our ability to tap into the messages from it. So over 6-7 years, I built a very large real estate portfolio, and a little over $12.5 million, in fact. And at that point, I realized, I think I know a little bit something about this money piece. So let me honor that knowingness that I had at 14 and start going out to teach it. And that's how it started. That's the whole story behind what I do and why I do it.
I love that. And so clearly you must have a daily practice that you continue to use to help you stay tuned in and tapped in to your inner guidance.
Yes. Yeah, I do.
What is that?
I'd love to share it with the viewers. So the first thing I do is I wake up on purpose, which means that I know right before, that kind of sleepy, dreamy state that you're in before the eyes open and before you reach for your smartphone or whatever. You have the ability to be in a heightened state of awareness and receive information or downloads from the universe at that time. So what I started doing years ago, I would ask just like through my conscious thinking, subconscious mind, what do I need to know right now? That's how I started my day. What do I need to know right now? And now I find I don't have to ask that question any longer. Right before I wake up, I'm in a stream of a steady what I call a download with the universe. And they're sharing with me information about what I need to work with on a coaching client, or the next chapter I'm writing in my book, or writing a speech that I'm giving. So it's incredible information that I receive, and I'm asleep, like kind of half and half asleep, But then I force myself to get up and write all of this down.
Like in a morning pages or in a journal? I mean, is it, a connection of like, how do you do divine source or whatever? Or is it, how do you do that?
Yeah, I just pen to paper, and I write everything down. So, I'll get great ideas for clients. I'll get great ideas for my business, and, whatever that comes through, I trust in that information. I write it down. This is before I turn any kind of electronic devices on. I think we really do ourselves a disfavor or a disservice when we wake up and immediately go to channeling as a kid. Yeah, you're right, Robin. We immediately go to some kind of electronics, because what that does, it slows our mental capacity and brain function down. It slows it way down because our brain is operating, and through the pineal gland, we're tuned in, tapped in right into the universe. And we're really avoiding that when we go into our conscious thinking mind and open up the electronics and things. So, hey, you don't have to do this, but I highly recommend kind of stay away from that stuff, at least for the first hour upon waking, because then you're still in the flow of this incredible information, and then you can start capturing it.
I agree 100%, although I will admit that I have my coffee.
That's fine. Yeah.
In my hand while I'm writing. But, you're absolutely right. It's the waking up and saying thank you, filling your heart with gratitude, allowing your purpose to start coming out. And as you say, talk about it, and just keep the handhelds to the side. I know it's not easy to do, folks, because we're just drawn to want to go electronic right away. But it can wait. So let's say hi to a few folks who are watching and tuned in today. We've got a great group. I love what Christine Bowen said. Key, teaching from experience. Absolutely. Kayleen Granado says, wow, this is awesome. Deborah Oakland, trust what comes through and take action. And yes, Robin Mathers, sounds like Jacob has been channeling since a kid. And wonderful Maria Flynn from One Wise Life. He's on point. Love it. And Donna, the coach, oh my gosh, he makes me face my lazy bone. Needed to hear that. Yay! A note to self, write it down. Oh, I love that. And yeah, Robin, coffee is key. So, we have some wonderful folks tuning in and joining us in this conversation. I want to remind everybody that today, Jaden will be taking questions. He'll be doing some mini readings. So be sure to, pop a / what is it when it goes that way? Is that / Q? If you have a question, so we can put it into the queue here. And after the show, after I hit stop recording, we'll have the afterglow party. And that's when you can come in right here in this area with us live, or you can continue asking questions from the comments section. And thank you, Roy Montero / Q. He's been so handy today. Thank you, Roy. And Danielle Miller, a quick mwah to you, Branding Goddess. So good to see you. And hey, Barb, she is such a blast, and she is a happy blabber. That Barb, TUS, everybody can see her there. Anyway, let's talk about how you move through the world. And, one of the things that you shared with me, or a bunch of them, were your money memes. And I love them. I love how it's as if money were a person, like a Herman Hesse or a Wayne Dyer, and you quote them. What are some of those quotes? Do you know them offhand? I can call them up, of course, but it's like money's like, hey, I've got this. We're working on this together. There's plenty of me to go around.
Yeah, let's talk about this. So, one morning during the sessions that I just talked about, how I do this, I said to money, so tell me, who are you? How can I connect in with your energy? Because I'm a big believer that everything is vibration and energy. And so I got, Andy, in that very same moment, I got two distinct feelings. The first one was the feeling of creativity, which I thought, that's interesting because that's like the feminine part of us, our right brain part. And the next feeling I got was that of discipline, which I thought that's fascinating too, because that's the masculine side of the body. That's the left brain linear thinking is so then I thought, wow, okay, so money then became this very real thing that's a combination of creativity and discipline. And which kind of makes sense, because how many people do we know who are so creative, and yet there's this thing of starving artists, right? Because they're not disciplined enough to get their artwork out there. Or how many people do we know who are so disciplined, almost too much, and they don't allow for that beautiful creativity to come through? So that was a real eye-opener. And this happened like last summer. And ever since then, I feel like I've been in this channel of money. And in fact, on my Facebook page, every single day, or Monday through Friday, I post what's called the money meter. And it's just a couple, 2 or 3 sentences from money that basically says, how to work with money for that day, what the flow of money is, what areas to focus on your business on that particular day. And it's been this really cool kind of a download channeling of the energy of money and how people can best work with it. And this is the fascinating thing that came through just a couple weeks ago, which blew my mind, but not really once we think about it. Money basically said, look, I'm waiting on you to give me direction. So we need to honor that. And what that basically, seriously, what that means is money is waiting on you to tell it what to do. So for example, in my business lately, I've been saying, okay, money, come on in, expenses, stop. Like, I feel like I'm this traffic conductor, it's like, okay, money, come on in, and expenses, you stop, right? And so that is we are in charge of the direction of money, but we don't understand that. And up until 2 weeks ago, I had no idea. And I thought I knew quite a bit about money, but I'm constantly learning. It's always surprising me.
Well, and that's very interesting because the fact that you've made so much money and you're still evolving and deepening your own relationship with money. And
Yeah.
and you know, a lot of times I feel folks are feeling pressure to have, quote, it all. You know, you see the yachts and the three homes and very material. Sometimes I think in the Millionaire Mindset, for example, they often talk about, well, what is it that will give you freedom? Freedom to work or not work, freedom to explore passions, etc. And I think that's a level of prosperity that continually needs to be addressed because we don't want to be comparing ourselves. Someone could be in a 500 square foot, small house or apartment and be just so rich on every single level. And yes, still have bills paid and money flowing and feeling very financially independent. I think it's a matter of finding out what is that success point for all of us. What are your thoughts on that, Jaden?
I think you're right on point, Andy. I think it's a matter of everyone has to ask themselves, what does success mean to me? We've in the past, it's been so one-dimensional where it's based on your level of achievement financially and what's in your bank account and how big is your business. And, and I even look at my own clients, business clients, and they talk about revenue, but I'm like, wait a second, let's talk about net profit here, because you can have a whole bunch of revenue, right? You know this. And then if your expenses are just as much as your or near to or as much as your revenue, it doesn't matter. So you're still, not.
Oh, you're singing my song. Everybody will tell you I am all about the profit.
Yeah, that profit.
Profitable, because that's cash in your pocket, and that's cash
in your pocket
to share with the world.
Yeah, we have to really wrap our minds around that. I'd rather have less in sales and more in profit, which is easy to do. And then you're not working as hard. And that was right before our show, I was meditating about, what is it, the messages that people need to hear? And it was very clear. It was like we're working way too hard. People are working way too hard. They're way too busy. I will say this, there's profit in stillness.
Okay, who's grabbing that quote? Let me tell you, that's a meme right there. Oh, yeah.
There's profit in stillness.
Profit in stillness.
Yes.
I can just feel that energetically. Anybody else feeling that too? Just all of a sudden, wow, that just was like a magnet. Mm-hmm. Okay, go on.
Okay.
I'm going to have to tweet that.
Tweet that. Someone tweet that one. When we really get to the understanding that we're in charge of our abundance, and, let's just break the word down, prosperity. Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yes.
All right, so here's the thing about the word prosperity. It's from the Latin derivative prospere, which means for spirit. So we honor ourselves, our deeper, higher selves, our spiritual self, when we are prosperous. We have to really let go of the martyrdom. We have to let go of, it's not good to have money. It's not good to be abundant. That is such a load of garbage. Does Jaden have a book on this? Yes, I've got the book, The Alchemy of True Success, but I'm writing my next book, which is Money 180, talking about all the phases of money and having it in your life. I'll let you know, Don. But we have to let go of this pauper attitude, this belief that there's not enough, the idea that it's not spiritual to have abundance and money, because it totally is. In fact, I believe we are most spiritual when we are fully abundant and we have the resources that we need, right, to live the most incredible life ever, and really opulence. That's the key, right? Getting to the state of opulence in our life.
I love it. I love it. And of course, several folks in the audience are chatting about the Quan. I mean, that was such a Jerry Maguire movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. is talking about the Quan.
Yes.
But you're absolutely right. And I love the definition of prosperity, for spirit. And you're right. We cannot move about in our lives, whether it's our soulful journeys, entrepreneurial journeys, our parenting journeys, relationship journeys, if we are coming from a place of scarcity and lack. The prosperity is bringing in more about receiving. And I know that for a lot of women, I imagine it's not a gender issue, But a lot of us have been raised to give, 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 give. It's part of our nature. And at the same time, struggling to receive without anything in return, just saying thank you, thank you, thank you. What advice do you have for that?
I have amazing advice, because I used to be one of those people that struggle with receiving, because I used to think, oh, if I receive from someone, that means they'll have less. So then I read this really cool quote, Andy, and it was this. It's the most generous person is the one who receives.
I agree. But go into detail about that, because that might be a tough concept for people to wrap their arms around.
All right, well, think about it. How amazing do you feel when you give someone a gift and they actually really receive it? Like, a lot of people will do this. They'll be like, oh, why did you do that? Or me, you know what? Oh, that was too much, or you shouldn't have. Even compliments. And if you want to know how good of a receiver you are, ask yourself, how do you receive a compliment? If you can just truly take it in, there you go.
Thank you.
If you can just truly take it in, I mean, really take it in and feel it, the giver of that compliment can feel your genuineness. But if you're thinking, oh, they probably say that to everyone, or a lot of people deflect compliments. They'll say, what, this shirt? Well, look at you. You look so nice, right? They deflect it. They don't even really assimilate it. They don't take it in. And that's the first thing. If you want to be more abundant in your life, start learning how to be a good receiver of compliments. And this is how you do it. You say, thank you, and you shut up. That's it.
And even a little eye to eye, if you're with them belly to belly, you can just look at them and have that moment. Thank you.
That's it.
Not like, oh, I only wear this when I don't care, or
don't drop the story, right? Just drop the story. Just be like, thank you. And start to believe the person when they give you that compliment. Really believe it and feel it within your body. And when you start to tune into those feelings, then you're on to something, because you're tuning into the largest manifestation organ in your body, which is your heart, which trumps the brain by a factor of 5,000 times in terms of manifesting. So when you start to tune into your body, tap into the power of that, you can start to feel in your body what feels right to you, what doesn't feel right to you, and then really trust that. I mean, that is so huge.
I love that. Let's address a few of the questions that we have here, shall we? We have Donna Rago. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. All right, come on up. I had it right there. I was just looking at it, Donna. I'm so sorry. Now it has disappeared. Hold on. I'll bring up Roy's. Whatever you lack, give it. If you lack friends, be friendly. If you lack love, give love. If you lack
whatever. He's so right. Was it Mother Teresa who said you can't go broke by giving money? It's an impossibility to go broke by giving money. And most people would think that is so counterintuitive. What are you talking about? But it's so true. I notice, we have a steady giving routine in our family. Mm-hmm. And we start with friends. So any of our friends who are going through a difficult time, we give generously in their campaigns. A lot of people, are really going out on social media, like with GoFundMe or certain things, these campaigns. And we're seeing these people right in our community. We're like, oh my God, we need to help them. So that's always been how we give is right in our own backyard first, and then we reach out. But you know what? If we all helped one another in our own backyard, imagine that would pretty much solve everything for everyone.
Would. Let me just give you some props on that one. I love it. Love it. Love it. So speaking of my own backyard, Robin Mather has this great question. She's only 2 towns over from me. She's so delicious. How about a card deck with your money meter idea? Would love to pull a daily card on how to deepen my relationship with the money goddess.
Robin, that's a great idea. But it changes every day, Monday through Friday. And you, grab it on my Facebook page, Wealth and Wisdom page. I post it there every single morning at 6 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, go get it. But I love your idea. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and Jason's, all the links to where you can find Jaden are in the archives, everybody. So easy breezy to find. And then we have Donna's question, which is trusting the answers to appear. I'm in transition, just returning to North America from 4 years in India, and using this transition time to determine if I continue my career work path or make a change. Well,
Yeah,
let's draw a card.
Let's draw a card for it. Right. The feeling that I get right away is you're ready for a change. It's not necessary for you to continue on the path that you're on. I feel like you've reached a level of mastery with that path, and you're kind of like, you know what, been there, done that, ready to explore something new, but you're hesitant about it and you're a little nervous. So maybe, you know, what drew you to the show is the confidence piece, Donna. So it's going to be really important for you to work on your inner confidence. Oh my gosh, I drew the same card, signs, for her. That's crazy.
That is so crazy.
So Donna, start looking for the signs around you in terms of supporting your next venture, because it's 2 months away, right around 2 months. And there's a male, younger guy, dark hair. He's in his 30s. He's going to help you with this next venture that you're in.
Wow, we love that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's, and Robin has one more question. Did you design the card deck you're using?
I did.
Oh, that's awesome. So awesome. So, you know, Jaden, you often say that we were born, or you were born, with everything you need to live a spectacular life. And the answers are already within you. All you have to do is learn the alchemy of success and live it. So what does that mean?
Well, and it's a great question. I mean, really what it means is all we really, Donna says bang on, good. So really it resonated with her. What we need to understand is that we've come in this earth plane, this earthly experience, to have this three-dimensional experience with our mind, body, and our spirit. And believe it or not, that's plenty enough for you to tap into to experience whatever it is that you want in life. So I call it the alchemy process, because way back when, alchemists used to turn lesser base metals into gold. And they did it with three things. They did it with an instrument, they did it with a vessel, and they did it with a tool. So the instrument I feel like we all have is our mind. We have our mind as an instrument. When we learn to use our mind in a way that supports us and what we desire to experience, and what I mean is our subconscious mind, right? Because many of us know that our life is determined by 95% of all our experiences are dictated by our subconscious. So we're constantly being drawn throughout our day. 95% of our day is being dictated by our subconscious mind. So when we learn to tune and tap into that and actually get it to work for us and not against us, like how amazing can life be? That's the first step. But the second step is the vessel, what the alchemists use. So when I heard that, I'm like, vessel, well, my God, we have a body. That's our vessel that we can use. And this is scientific. There's nothing woo-woo about this. We all have a brain. We all have within that brain what's called the pineal gland. Mm-hmm. And the pineal gland is also referred to as our third eye. It's like the gateway to the universe. It's our intuitive processing. And when we start to go through a process of what's called decalcifying the pineal gland, getting it healthy so it's fully functioning, within the pineal gland, there's hundreds of mini crystals that float in water. And the crystals are all different colors depending on what your purpose is in life. But we all have this beautiful ability to crystallize the information from the universe, from our guides in the spiritual realm, because I believe we all have helpers in the spiritual realm. There's no way the universe would put us here without help. Napoleon Hill, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, called them invisible forces. I simply call them spirit guides. I believe we all have these guides guiding us. So maybe that's why the signs card keeps popping up for us. So we have the tools, the innate tools within us, our mind, body, spirit. And of course, spirit is the tool that I believe alchemists refer to, and how they transform these lesser base metals. So think about this. I mean, they were able to take a metal that we think is a very concrete substance and transform it into something that is worthwhile, that is valuable, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so our spirit, believe it or not, has the ability to do the same in our own life. We can live a gold medal life. We can live a life of absolute abundance and joy and perfect health. And all we have to do is follow that inner guidance that we receive. And we're constantly receiving it. It's just a matter of, are we paying attention to it?
Right. And recognizing it when it comes in and staying going, oh, no, that couldn't be real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens.
Exactly.
That happens.
For sure.
Well, I think that's so important. And yes, wouldn't we all love someone just to hand us a magic pill, so we could have our instant understanding, success, etc. Or they could give us a map that we could follow, or our own step-by-step blueprint. But the truth is folks like you, or the Wayne Dyer, Napoleon Hill, and other wonderful people right here today, Roy, Christaria, Deb, Danielle, Cherie, Valentine, people are everywhere to help guide us, but guide us internally, right, to a better and deeper understanding of ourselves. And yes, life happens to us, but it happens for us. It's one of my favorite ways of looking at life, is that it happens for us, not to us, so that every event that you go through is really showing you the contrast of what you don't want, or deepening your own relationship with yourself. So that further points to how important the inner work is. So how do you encourage folks to continue on that inner work path? Because sometimes it can just be, what was it in the Matrix? Oh, I should have taken the red pill. Or whatever, so I just didn't have to pay it for whatever the pill was that just said, listen, I just want a steak and a martini, instead of that deeper awareness. So how do you help people stay excited and passionate and enthusiastic about that inner work, and finding the signs and the help along the way?
Yeah, it's a great question, Andy. Well, I think, the first thing people can do is start this process. And I mean, I'm sure many of our viewers, right, they're already doing this stuff. So they can start to see and start taking notice of when their life is getting easier, when it becomes more joyful, when abundance shows up from unexpected sources, right? I mean, that's the key. I mean, here's the thing. What you don't take charge of happens by default.
That's the truth.
Right? I mean, someone tweet that way. What you don't take charge of happens by default. So what that means is, by default, I define that as you're living with the collective consciousness. And if there's a certain belief that the collective consciousness has, that, for instance, there's a belief that, why does the incident of heart attacks spike on Mondays? Because people are like, great, I got to go to work, because they had such a fun time over the weekend. So it's amazing how, when you start to live life on purpose and by discernment, and start to really take action in your own life, how different it becomes. And then you can start to notice the differences that you're experiencing, like I've always heard eating, you can eat anything, but eat it in moderation. But, just this past winter, like, I asked my body, I was carrying around kind of like a little tire, and I've never really had a tire around the midriff. And I was like, I want to get rid of that. I don't feel as vibrant as I can. And I'm 47. I was like, maybe it's age. And I'm thinking, that's silly. This is nuts. I can change this. So I asked my body to change it for me. And then all of a sudden I developed not an allergy, but a resistance to certain foods. So then, I went to my naturopath, and he said, you have candida. So you have to cut out sugar. You have to cut out dairy. You have to cut out wheat. All these things that help me get right back to my fit self and feeling good self, right? And I was like, that happened for me, not to me, right. But that's how I looked at it. I'm like, thank you, universe. My body's so responsive, and we can always ask our body for help with things.
I love it, because it's there. You wake up on purpose. How do I want to let go of this? Or how do I want to evolve into that? Or how do I want to bring in more? And also, you talked too about how money can show up in so many different ways. I mean, if you got a deal on a favorite outfit, yeah, money can be showing up to, or a car, or if you, in the case in our family, our son got a grant at school. Wow. You know, that's definite manna from heaven. Let's go and answer a few questions before we move on. Okay. So Christaria asks, what do you tell people who want abundance fixed immediately? What does it really take? Oh my gosh, it's such a great question. Thank you, Christaria.
That is a great question. And hello, Christaria. She's awesome. I was on her New Year's Eve show, like a streaming show similar to this kind of format. It was fantastic. I mean, she's doing great work in the world.
Sure.
So what I think the question is, when people are saying fixed, like solve the abundance problem, is that what it is? Like, what does it really take to solve that problem?
Yes,
well, again,
yes.
Okay, cool. Very simply, first thing, like now, solve it like now. First thing everyone can do right now is have gratitude for what you already have in your checking account.
Even if it's minus.
Hopefully it's not minus, but even if it's $5, why do I say that? Because what you have gratitude for, more comes to you. This is what most people do. They're like, oh, I don't have enough, or you know, I want more money. And that energy is low vibration. And money is kind of cool because it resides in a very high vibratory level that's aligned with love, service, and joy. That's where money likes to play and hang around. So if you're working in your life, you know, as you work through your day, find as many things as you can find to have gratitude for, to have love for, to have joy for. Like, I love my clients, the people I get to work with. I love them. And I have tremendous gratitude for them. And then all of a sudden, and this was when I only had one client. Now all of a sudden I have a full practice, and it's like, well, how did that happen? Oh yeah, because I loved my clients. Right.
See, and
that's how you fix that. That there, you know, it's like the key is to trust in the universe, that the universe has your back. First of all, you have to trust, and you have to go for it. And here's another thing. The other way to fix it is be as happy with no's as you are with yeses.
Wow. So what's an example of a good no? No, you can't have that. No.
Rejection, right? Any kind of business rejection. Like, if you're, you know, so many business owners are afraid of rejection, and that is stopping them in their tracks. Literally, it's stopping their confidence. So I think the key is, and some people will be like, well, I can tolerate a no. It has to be better than that. You have to be inspired every time you hear no. And that inspiration needs to come up inside you, and it's got to light that fire, and you have to say to yourself, you know what? That's fine. Maybe that person isn't ready at that moment to take advantage of your product or service, to take advantage of that opportunity, but maybe at some point they will down the road. And then you have to get fired up and say, I'll find someone who is.
And, you know, and speaking of that gratitude, my husband and I, when we have coffee in the morning together, usually from bed, we are clinking, and we do 10 gratitudes minimum. Nice. Yeah. So even if it's like, okay, I'm up, kind of, or the sky is blue, yay, here in New England, and that's a great thing. But also for anything that may have happened. And I really would like to do that before we go to bed too, just sort of to set the tone so that when we wake up. But I'm going to add to that what are we on purpose for this morning?
Nice. Love that. Yeah.
With the connection. I think that's wonderful. And I think too that in your embracing the no, loving the no, being grateful for what is working while we anticipate more coming in is the same thing when we pay our bills. Or when we have to pay our taxes, instead of going, my quarterly tax payment is due, and it's like, yay, talk about that. How can we look at our expenses and the bills that we just need to send out on a daily basis, and instead of having that typical, oh, I hate my bills, what's the language that we could be using?
That is a brilliant question, and I knew you were going to answer it, so I have already figured this out. You and I didn't even talk about
No,
this.
we didn't.
So what came to me was, to answer this question, was this. First of all, as soon as you get the bill, pay it with gratitude right away. Those people who wait and say, oh, it's due February 4th, I don't have to pay it today. No, pay it right away and be grateful that you have the money, because it takes your energy the longer you leave it there, right? As you look at it or leave it or know that that's something, an accounts payable, that takes your energy. What I found in my business is it sparked money so that my accounts receivables came in faster. I no longer had any past 30-day late notices I had to send out. It's like everyone paid on time because I paid our bills on time.
Ooh.
Something to that, isn't there?
Now you're showing off.
Yeah. And then the other thing that came to me was try to get online bill pay for all of your stuff so that they're not sending you a bill in the mail, because then it becomes like this physical thing,
What
right?
a great idea.
Space.
Yeah.
And it's taking up space, and it's like around you, and you're like, oh, I don't really, that's not what you want to keep looking at. So allow for, just get all of your bills to go online and not sent to you in the mail.
Right.
I think that's,
and surround them with a robe of light and love and gratitude, for however you incurred the expense, and bill, and send it off with gratitude, leaving space for more to come in. But to go back to Christaria's question about the I want it now. It can, I think that kind of abundance and prosperity can show up again in ways with signs where that's been, some ease has been created. And I also think that really trusting and really having the faith, not just sitting there filing, your nails and thinking everything's going to be coming to you, or to giving yourself a manicure, but, certainly taking action while you do it. But I have had the best miracles in my life when I've just said, I don't know where or how, but I know. And exercising my brain so I don't go throw myself out the cellar window, so to speak.
Yeah. So can I talk about that a little bit more? Okay. So the very wanting of money is representing lack and limitation. Because think about it, when you have something in abundance, you don't want it anymore, do you? If you have a loving relationship, there's no need to want love in your life, right? I mean, that's kind of what we're talking about here. So the key is to shift your wanting to desire. And you have to be really careful about this in your languaging. So instead of saying, I want more money, what you need to be saying to the universe is, I desire the experience of more abundance in my life. Because, we focus, money is just one little piece of it. There can be someone who's a helpful person that comes into your life that makes the world of difference for you. That is like, money you can't even put a price on that, right? On that relationship. So we really need to be careful when we're putting our intentions out there, particularly right now, Andy. In fact, today, January 20th, is a day where there are, and I'm not an astrologer, but I know the power of the planets. And there's like 5 big planets lined up today, like in perfect succession. And it's like, get clear about your thoughts, get crystal clear about what you desire to experience. Get your karma in order, like start just doing random acts of kindness. That's another way to bam the money funnel, to get that money faucet flowing. Do a random act of kindness. Give to someone's campaign who needs an extra 20, 50 bucks. But here's the thing with giving, give from your overflow.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
The extra. If you got a little extra, great, share it with the world, and you'll start to see that there's a whole lot more money piling up in your account.
I love that. I see the cup running over, and I see the overflow, and going, oh, here. There's plenty more that came around from. So I know that we've got some more questions here lined up. I wanted to grab Oh, Christine, you tried to do a meme, but I don't think it came through. I think it just came through with the link. Aw, that's okay. We'll look for it in tweets or follow-ups. Roy has a good question. Christina, oh, yep, we already got that. Great. You know, a lot happens on these shows and the flow goes very quickly. Let me ask you this too, because when you wrote your book, Alchemy of Success, like, how did that, as far as an abundant experience for you, especially for all the authors out there, how did you create abundance around the writing of the book so that it would bring you the results that you intended for it?
Yeah, great question. So whenever I put any product out, whether it's a book or card deck or a CD or a course that I'm teaching, I always say this, and here's a picture of the book. I always say, you know what? We're in this partnership together, you and I, this product that I've created. And I've put the energy into channeling this, to allowing the information to come through me. I've put all of the hours into getting it into book format. Now it's your job to go out and find wings and find the people who need to read what's inside you. So whenever I publish anything or put whatever, product together, I look at it as a collaboration between myself and this physical product. And I ask that product to go out to grow wings and to go to the people that need it the most.
I love that. And I know that, well, first I just want to say, Maria Flynn from One Wise Life said, listening to Jaden, this came to me. Money is energy and it goes where it's welcome. Aww.
Love that.
Love that. But
and it follows the path of least resistance. This is another big thing about money that we need to understand. Money's like water. It flows to, its common ground. It finds common ground, but it follows the path of least resistance. So if you're having a challenge right now, manifesting more money, it's because there's something inside you that's actually resisting the process. And that could be doubt. It could be not the inability to receive. It could be questioning yourself. It could be changing up rather than having a very focused and deliberate plan for manifesting abundance.
So what are some tactics and practices that we could use, Jaden, to help us dissolve that resistance?
Yeah, so we'll start off noticing in your body where you feel resistance around money. If someone gives you money, right? A lot of people will say, universe, bring me $1 million, but then a friend invites them to lunch and they feel uncomfortable when the bill comes because they feel like, oh, I can't receive this. Or oftentimes people will want to reciprocate right away. Well, you took me to lunch. Okay, I'll get next week, right? I mean, we do that. But I'm going to encourage everyone to sit with the gifts, particularly where there's financial rewards there. Sit with it and just know that you're good enough to receive that you don't have to give back right away. You don't have to reciprocate. You can simply allow it to come in, that your presence at that lunch with your dear friend was gift enough, and it was their pleasure to buy you lunch. So we have to really start working on that.
Absolutely. And business owners, if you have advisors that want to come in and give you advice that you would normally have to pay a lot of money for, say thank you and say yes.
That's right.
It can come from all sorts of resources. I'm not saying take advantage of somebody. I'm talking, a freelancer, but if someone wants to gift you a service, knowledge, products, whatever, say thank you. And know that you have done that already for someone else. You know you have. And it's just the flow, right, Jaden, of the energy of money and prosperity.
It's the flow. It's the manifestation of it. It's the inner, here, I don't know how deep we want to go, but we could blow some minds right now.
Go there. Okay. Blow our minds.
All right. So here's the money truth. The number one truth to money is it doesn't flow to you. It comes from you.
Hello.
Hello.
Ding, 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 ding. Everybody get that? Take a moment, be with it. Take a few days or a month or a year.
Breathe that in. It comes from you. So what does that mean? You are your own money activator.
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
How do you activate money? Well, you get enthusiastic, you get excited, you get passionate, you get focused, you get disciplined, and you get creative. Oh, dear Lord, it's just, Andy, you're bringing it all out of me, honey. This is it.
That is wonderful. I don't, anybody else here, have you ever heard it put that way? Come on, that's wonderful, wonderful advice. Thank you for that. And I think we're all going to process that in our own ways. And remember, you can find Jaden anywhere and everywhere if you want to pursue that. And I just want to do a quick reminder before we continue to all of those who are here live. As soon as I hit end broadcast, we're going to answer your questions. So if you want Jaden to pull, sorry for the echo, Jaden, pull a card and answer a question for you. Please stick around for that, okay? In the meantime, when you wrote your book, you talked about relying on your spiritual team of professionals. Talk about that, because I know there are people here who rely on source that's in an energetic way and in a loving way. So talk about that, please.
I'd love to. And thank you for the opportunity to talk about it, because I don't get to on a lot of business shows. So I'm grateful for the opportunity. And so here's the thing. We all have, like we said, Napoleon Hill calls them invisible forces. We all have a team of highly evolved, non-physical beings who work for free, who are available to you 24/7. You don't have to put them on the payroll. You don't have to do withholding taxes. Like, they're amazing, and they're experts in your field and industry, and they know exactly what you're going through. So it's like, why would we not want to use their guidance? But what I feel like what happens is most of them just wait outside your office door, and they're waiting patiently for you to open the door and say, come on in, help me, right? Because this is the key. The only way to activate their guidance is you have to ask. Because in this 3D dimensional physical earth plane, we have what's called free will. And these beings cannot interject into your life unless they're asked. So, and it's simple enough. All you do is say, hey, you know what, universe, I don't know who's out there to help me, but, you know, come forward in this project that I'm working on, or, you know, bring whoever you can who might help me with what I'm working on, because they know what you're going through. They know what you want to experience, and the help is available. There's no way that we would be put on this earth without their assistance. There just isn't. The problem is we have psychic amnesia, and we forget that we have this help.
And I love the fact that you've mentioned that we just have to open the door. Hello.
So everyone, when you get off this blab, open your office door and say, come on in.
And then, as we were talking about at the beginning of the show, stay open to the signs that they've entered the room, that they're there. Because again, yeah, those little nudges that we get, the little sort of lifts and opportunities that we get. Yeah, everyone, we have our own unique communication style, right, Jaden?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And yeah, I mean, and so it's in your language, your words. It doesn't have to be, I mean, you can create some kind of like ceremony around it or whatever, but you know what, it's just simple enough as say, hey, like recently I just recorded a meditation around clearing obstacles in our life, and Ganesha is the deity that is my go-to deity for that, because Ganesha came right in and said, hey, I'll do this with you. And then Ganesha said, I said, well, how do I invoke you? And Ganesha said, well, just say, be here now. And I was like, well, that's brilliant. Be here now. Like, can we all be here now in our own life, right?
Yeah, I'd rather be here now.
Exactly.
So part of that, we want to just sort of steer now to the business realm for our solopreneurs, our entrepreneurs, our small business owners, those who want to build a business. I mean, you've built a multi-million-dollar business. How do we apply these principles so that, you know, we can too aspire and grow a bigger base with what we have?
Yeah, great question. So we need to be intentional with what we desire to achieve. I always say, focus on plan A, forget plan B. after, you know, if you're really focused on aligning with your purpose and your passion, which is, those are the entrepreneurs I work with. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in people who just want to make a ton of money and whatever. That doesn't interest me. But if it's really your focus and your passion, then right now we have an unprecedented time, Andy, to step into that. And it's like the wind is to our back now. It's like hoist the sails and just go with it, because you're going to achieve the level of success that you never have before, because we've never had this opportunity before. In the past, it's been like we've been kind of running into a headwind, and we felt resistance, and it stopped us from moving forward in a powerful way. But the world needs people who are aligned with their passion, with their purpose, and with their message to share. And that's why we now have this assistant. So what you can do is be really intentional about it and say, hey, you know what? I'm ready to step into my purpose, declare it to the universe and say, bring it on. And then every morning get clear about what are the 3 things that you want to accomplish that day to help move your goal forward. Just 3 things. It doesn't have to be 50. It doesn't have to be 100 or 10. 3 powerful things that you want to accomplish that day. And then simply say, universe, okay, universe, I need assistance. And I'm always asking for help. I always joke and say, the universe thinks they probably think I'm the laziest guy on the planet, because I'm constantly asking for assistance. I'm asking for help in my marriage. I'm asking for help in raising my step-up kids. I ask for help in my business. I say, you know, bring me the kind of prospects who are committed to their growth, their personal development, not interested, but committed. And when I work with someone like that, I'm in total love, joy, and awe of that person, working with them. And then it translates through the relationship and business. Make sense?
Totally. So how do folks work with you, Jaden?
Well, they can find me. The best way really is to get on my email list, because then you're going to receive all of I do like a weekly writing to my list of what comes through to me from a channel from my team. Mm-hmm. So that goes out, and that only goes out to my list. I don't even put that on anywhere else, but you got to get on my list. And then throughout my list, occasionally I'll share offerings and things that I'm doing.
Oh, awesome. And I know I'll have, of course, where you can find them in the archives, everybody. There's one more question I have before we wrap everything up, because we've really gone long today, but I just felt so much of this is something we all need to be working on and have a deeper understanding of. So I appreciate you staying with me on this. You have an understanding of the difference between taking inspired action versus taking action when you think you should. And I can see a raise of hands, everybody, you know, the shoulds that get you to do things that just don't have that same punch as inspire. Would you please talk about that, Jaden?
Yeah, well, you know, there's a little bit of this crazy thing going on in our society right now, and that is this thought that busy is the best, right? Being busy. I mean, think about it. It's like we wear it like a badge of honor. When someone calls you up, they're like, hey, how are you doing? You're like, good, I'm busy, I'm good, I'm busy though.
Yeah, it's a glorification of being busy, and I wanted to stop. Thank you.
Total glorification of it. And that does a disservice to people. Mm-hmm. It really does. We need to stop that crazy making. We need to stop that busyness. And like I said early on, there's profit in stillness. There's profit in you taking time for you. Every day I take time for me, Andy. You know, my wife and I get up early in the morning. We go work out together. Then we have our breakfast shake, our superfood shake together in the morning, and that's our time. So we allow for that time. And then I step into my office, and I'm very clear when I step in here, this is my time for my clients and for my business. But I'm not I'm not like integrating the two. I'm very focused in what I'm doing. So I find that the more focused you are, the more you can accomplish in a shorter period of time. So I'll give you this little mental technique I use. I've used it for 20 years now, and I call it the drawer method. And
how do you spell that? The what method?
Like a drawer.
Oh, DRAWER. Okay.
Yeah. So when I step into my office, over the threshold into my office, I then open my client drawer. And in that drawer is my sole focus. That means all my other drawers are closed. The kids, the wife, the house, the whatever. Everything else is closed in my mind, and I've opened that drawer. I'm only dealing with what the contents are in that drawer. Now, when I leave my office, I close that drawer. When I drive home, I open the drawer to family. I open the drawer to, like, clear about where I'm focused. So that way I'm not bringing business into family. I'm not bringing family into business. I can really focus and have clarity around what I'm doing. Now, when I go into the gym, that's my time. I open my gym drawer, and that's the only thing open. I'm not thinking about business. I'm not thinking about anything other than health, perfect health flowing through my body. I'm very, very focused that way.
I love that. That's excellent, excellent advice. Thank you so much for that. And what is that? I mean, you talked about how much you love helping on point and really committed clients. Would you say that's what you love the most about your work right now?
It's absolutely what I love the most about my work. It's my purpose, and I've known it since 14. So I'm so grateful, and that's why I love my clients so much, because I get to do this work that I've known I was here to do. Like, I've known for, 33 years that I'm meant to do this work. So for me to be able to step into it and do this full time and love every bit of it, because I took, after I sold my business, it's like I took a few years off and traveled and really didn't get into it. But now this is my second full year into the business, and I'm loving it. So it's really quite fun.
And what are the possibilities you're seeing on your horizon?
Ooh, possibility partner show. Yeah, we got to get that in. For me, the possibilities are, it's not even the sky's the limit. It's like the galaxy is the limit, because there are no limits. And I always ask the universe every morning to happily surprise me. That's my thing I ask for. So I've always been happily surprised in my life, and I just keep going for that.
I love it. And one more question from the audience. My neighbor, Robin here, says, curious, how do you feel when you share only part of your brilliance, hold back the alchemy part on the business shows?
Yeah, great question, Robin. So I've actually stopped doing business shows that don't allow me to talk about this very real phenomenon that exists. I just stopped them, because it's like, you know what? Why? They can get anyone to talk about, strictly financial stuff or business building stuff. But I'm the guy that's going to always blend the two, the spiritual part and the financial. That's always been my thing.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. Oh, and I want to do one more question, because Donna Rouge, by the way, folks, is how you say her name. What is the most powerful advice you give and follow?
The most powerful advice is trust in yourself. The trust, you've got to trust yourself. When you start trusting yourself, then you can trust the universe. You can trust other people. You can really start living life full out. And that's the advice that I follow. I force myself to trust myself. Does that make sense? I force myself to trust myself. Ooh, we can tweet that.
Yeah, force myself to trust myself. It's so important. And I know that for me personally, and I'm sure there are folks out there watching, that this has happened to you when you've made a boneheaded decision, so to speak. And when you look at it as, oh, that happened to me, or I was so stupid, and you might lose your trust in yourself, instead of saying, wow, what did I learn from that, and reframing it. Right, Jaden?
That's it. I didn't want my book. I wanted to call it "You Can Fail Your Way to Success," but my publisher, who I was working with at the time, didn't like the title. So there are no failures.
Right.
And in fact, unless you're not experiencing setback and failure, you're not pushing enough. Like, you're just playing your life way too small. So every day, if you can start experiencing, these no's that I talked about earlier, and start having them inspire you, that is the quickest way that you're going to find you'll double, triple your business.
Right. And then also to get back to Robin's question about being, fully forthcoming about the fact that you're about rocks are hard, water's wet, the bottom line, profitability. And at the same time, you wake up with your guides, your angels, your divine source, however you want to call it in the world. Robin, my experience is that the more you're tapped into that, and the more you're willing to share that, you're going to have an abundance of folks who will rise to the surface and be more abundant in your life in a way that, again, feeds you as you feed them. What do you think, Jaden?
Oh, absolutely. It's everything's vibration, and we attract to us what we're in resonancy with in terms of the vibration. So just look around your life, right? Like whatever's coming in your sphere, in your world, is a direct result of how you're vibrating and what the energy you're putting out.
Oh my gosh. And yes, Christine, this has been such a powerful conversation. I am so grateful that you came on the show, that you shared your wisdom, your wonderful energy, your extraordinary, incredibly and extraordinary, divinely delicious vibration today. Any last message before we wrap up and then do some readings for the live folks?
Yeah, really the last message was continue to trust yourself. Look for the signs. We pulled that card twice in the show. There's no accident. There's no accident to anything in your life. It's unfolding for you exactly how it's meant to unfold. So enjoy every minute of it.
So wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you to my precious treasures, the live viewers, for bringing your delicious comments, conversation, thoughts, and insights today to the show. Oh my gosh, you added so much value. And for those of you who are watching the replay, I'm so grateful for your presence as well. And please reach out with any questions. Reach out to Jaden. He's there to help you, support you on every level of your life, because for spirit, that's what prosperity is all about. Thank you, everyone, for joining me on the prosperity possibility show. And Jaden, thank you as well for being such a wonderful guest today and for serving the world in such an extraordinary way. I am truly grateful and deeply appreciate you.
Thank you, Andy, and I really felt that, and thank you for the opportunity to blab. This is my first blab. It was a blast. I just don't know what do the numbers mean, like 1,100 numbers or so. I don't know what that means.
That's how many like high fives, props, claps you've received.
Oh, you guys are awesome. High five back. Boom, 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 boom.
All right. See you next time, everybody. And those who are here live, stick around for the Afterglow show. I'm wishing you an Andelicious day. Mwah!